Hey everyone, it's Mr. Hollywood, and today is a director showdown, and it is between Spielberg and Nolan for which director do I like more. So this is mostly just personal preferences, because objectively they're about the same. I know Spielberg has way more movies than Nolan, and technically if you go by on base of how much percent of movies are good. At the same time, Nolan only has about a third as much, so it's a little bit harder to compare. But I will still compare Nolan and Spielberg, and I've actually technically seen around the same amount of movies for both directors, so this is going to be interesting. Feel free to share which director you like more down below in the comments. And let's begin. So Spielberg and Nolan is an interesting matchup because a lot of these directors, I actually didn't watch their movies till later in life. I think the first Spielberg movie I watched was E.T. I was one of those kids, I think we were all a little bit like this when we were 7 or 6, where I would kind of just skip to the cool parts in movies. So a lot of these movies I actually didn't watch in their entirety. The Dark Knight was the first Nolan movie that I did watch all the way through, but even then it took me a few watches to watch it all the way through because I would always just skip. However, I pretty much never do that now. It's not like I have as much nostalgia for either directors. And in terms of which director I've seen more movies in theaters, in terms of newer releases, I think I've only I'm getting stuck. I think I saw 3 Spielberg new releases in theaters, that being Ready Player One when it came out. I saw the new West Side Story in 2021, and The Fabelmans. And then I did see some of his early releases at special screens, where I did see Raiders of the Lost Ark at a screening, and I did see Jaws, which my first time ever watching Jaws was at a theater, and it was just kind of cool to see it in theater for the first time. I wonder what it was seeing it in 75. And then for Nolan, I've seen Oppenheimer and Tenet in theaters. And when it comes to his earlier releases that for special screens, I saw The Dark Knight in theaters, and then I saw Interstellar in theaters. And Interstellar, just like Jaws, that was the first time I ever saw it in theaters, so it was pretty cool seeing those movies in theaters. So yeah, it's just to say these are not directors who are as nostalgic to me. I didn't become obsessed with film in terms of to the degree I am now, until probably 2 years ago, or it's 2024 now, and 2021 around the summer, so around 2.5 years ago, where then I would actually go and watch older movies instead of watching the same movies over and over. So yeah, that's kind of my background with both of these directors. And in terms of which director makes more movies that I adore, Inception is my favorite Nolan movie, and I like it more than any of the Spielberg movies, which I know might surprise some people, but yes, I like Inception more than any Spielberg movies. But then the first and third Indiana Jones movies I like more than any of the others. So then there's a point where they're kind of equal. However, in terms of which director has more films that I adore, I mean, maybe because they have more movies, Spielberg. I've only seen the Spielberg movies that got critically acclaimed, except for maybe the second, fourth Indiana Jones movie. But because it is Indiana Jones, I was of course gonna watch all 4, or all 5. But Spielberg only directed the first 4. So yeah, these directors are kind of just similar to me. Of the movies I have seen, because I haven't seen any Spielberg movie yet that I disliked. I don't think either of these directors have ever made a bad movie that I've seen. So yes, that means I like the second and fourth Indiana Jones movie, and I'm okay admitting that. And then like in terms of like which film is like my least favorite of these, I mean for Nolan, my least favorite is probably his first film, Following, but then that even feels a little unfair because it was like I think not even 1/100th of the budget of Memento. But I do think it was impressive, but it's not one of my favorites. And then of the Spielberg movies, my least favorite's like probably Temple of Doom, which I probably like a little more than Following. So yeah, in terms of like the scores, in terms of just like where they would rank against each other, they're pretty similar in scores. And which director like resonated with me a little bit more? I'm gonna go with Spielberg. And I don't know, it's mainly because he's done more movies that just have like movie magic, where like Indiana Jones is like one of my favorite movie characters, and of the characters from either, Indiana Jones would be my favorite. And just I don't know, like there's just something so magical about Spielberg, and Nolan has some of that too, but mainly because of like when Spielberg started making movies. I don't know, maybe just because for its like time, like the X factor for its time, I would give it to Spielberg. So I think it is pretty obvious. As much as I love Christopher Nolan, he's absolutely one of my favorite directors, and I'm excited for whatever movie Nolan has done next, because right now he is currently at his prime, but Spielberg was probably not at his prime for like a long time. His last movie that I would say like that I adored, in terms of just when it came out, was Catch Me If You Can, which I think is a very underrated movie. So as much as I love Nolan, I would give it to Spielberg as my favorite director. Now in terms of best, that's kind of up in the air, but in terms of just my favorites, I would give it to Spielberg. But if there is one thing Nolan does better, he kind of has like more flair to his movies. Like visually they look better, and not even just because of like where we remove the X Factor, but even with the X Factor, when there's X Factor, they would probably be around the same. So yeah, it's like a little harder to compare because these directors are from different eras, but even then, like I still wanted to compare. So Spielberg does come up on top over Christopher Nolan. So that is my opinions on these two awesome directors. Feel free to share which director you like more down below in the comments. And I cannot wait to do more content. Now, thanks for watching, and peace out.